What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 3 picks to take you through today. It's all I've got down at the moment. I'll obviously look into more picks before the game start tomorrow. Share that out to everybody on Winnable. But doing a live stream as we normally do when I am short on time or I'm somewhat fatigued. And I'm probably both of those things right now. I'm a little bit tired, but I did want to make an appearance after losing quite a few bets today. I didn't want to hide behind it, disappear after a losing day. Wanted to front the camera for you guys. So not a great day. We'll talk about it in a second. I'll take you through a couple of picks. Got the live stream happening, and I'll answer everything in the chat. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
What's good? Want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for filling it up. Yes, I do have a 60-second slow mode on, and that's more for me, not for you, because I am too slow. And you guys tend to put in a whole lot of comments, and I lose track of where we're up to. So the slow mode's on there. So if you're going to put something in, make it worth it, is what I'll say. So what's up to everybody? I hope you guys are good. You don't even have to pay me. I get it. I know what you're going to say. Back shots from the west side of Sydney. Get it all out in the chat. Have your giggles, and let's talk about it. Yesterday, shared, 3 picks with you guys. Went 1 and 2 on those picks. So it wasn't a great day. VIP were minus 1.6 units. We actually made some profit on straight picks. I think we were 5 and 4 on those. But a lot of the value plays didn't cash the way that I expected to. Let's talk about the picks that we went through, though. SGA over 5.5 boards. He had 3 rebounds in the first few minutes, and I thought this was going to be easy. And I think if you tailed, you were thinking the same thing. But he didn't see a rebound till late in that game. He finished with 5. I sat on it. I thought about it. And I was like, it's a bad read if you think about it, because he defended Drew Holiday the way that I expected him to. Although part of my prediction was Chet and Hartenstein were going to get pulled away from the ring. And that didn't necessarily happen. I expected Porzingis to play. Porzingis didn't play. Suddenly, Chet a lot closer to these boards than he normally would be, able to roam the paint. So, bad read. Lineup change. Got me again. What can you do? Let's talk about it. Julius Randle. I saw a couple of chats here about Julius Randle. Did he screw us over and stuff like that? And, man, I was checking the box score, watching along on this game today, because we didn't get close to this 12.5 rebounds and assists, and I read it completely wrong. Like, scoring was the last thing I thought that he was going to do in this matchup. He had more turnovers than assists, allergic to rebounds. I don't know what the hell happened. Like, based on the information we had before the game started, meaning his recent form, his matchup, his form against the Denver Nuggets, all signs were pointing to yes. And then today, none of it happened. So that was a strange one, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I could research that particular play any better, if I'm being honest with you. Dante DiVincenzo, I think a bit unlucky with this one. Over 16.5 points and assists. He finishes with 16. He didn't shoot the ball that well. But what makes this read pretty bad on my part is that I always preferred the assists anyway against the Denver Nuggets. But he had a good matchup for shooting, and I would have kicked myself if he just got the points and he didn't get the assists. And I tried to get the best of both worlds, and it didn't happen. Like, what you'll find when you're betting on players who rely on outside shots, you're going to be a victim of variance, because a lot of these outside shooters are not consistent. Like, that's just how outside shooting goes. And Dante didn't have the shot falling for him today. So got hooked on that one. Then we took Anthony Simons. I took him over 23.5 points. I had been betting very well on Anthony Simons up until this point, and he was absolutely disgusting today. It was a bad bet. And let me explain to you why it was a bad bet. The Knicks on the season, one of the worst pick and roll defenses in the league. Absolutely dog shit, right? But Jalen Brunson is out, which means they play Miles McBride a lot more. And McBride is a monster on-ball defender, one of the best in the league, believe it or not. I didn't factor that in when I made my decision. I just looked at the season data, and I already know the Knicks aren't great in the pick and roll, but that's a little bit different now. So they're not as soft as they normally are. And had I have factored that in, I'm not saying I would have bet he's under. No way. I still would have been leaning to the over, but it's a bet that I probably would have avoided. So that's on me. That wasn't good. Miles Bridges took him over 27.5 points and assists. This was the best bet of the night. Points and assists pretty much from the game started to when the game finished. Like, he was just pumping. That line just kept moving. So that was real good. Tari Eason over 22.5 PRA. He left it late to start cooking. Like, this bet was looking dead in the water the whole time, and then suddenly he cashed it for us. Rudy Gobert over 22.5 PRA. That's a wagon. If he's playing against Denver, just bet on Rudy Gobert. So it's been cooking for like the last 5 games. Denny Advia over 12.5 rebounds and assists. So he cashed this at halftime. What's painful for me here is, like, I had a value play on Denny Advia to go over his rebounds and his assists. I submitted the bet. I went to send it out to VIP, and then I cashed it out, and I didn't send it because I was like, I don't know how many minutes this guy's going to play today. And it turns out he was an absolute animal today. So lost a bit of profit there. But I took Desmond Bane over 11.5 rebounds and assists. He crushed this line, but he didn't get as many rebounds as I expected. I thought that would have been an easy value play over his assists, over his rebounds, and that didn't happen. So I only hit one value play, which was the Miles Bridges value play. Got hooked on a Rudy Gobert value play because he missed a dunk. And we hit a bitch-ass parlay. So I shared 2 BAPs. I'm pretty sure I sent that out to everybody. That wasn't exclusive to VIP. And we took on this Utah Jazz versus the Grizzlies, 50 to 275. So that's plus 450 odds. And this is the Miles Bridges one. Over in his points, over in his assists, and to get 5 boards. That was relatively sweat-free. So I was happy with that one. But if you guys are interested in joining VIP, you could use the code LIVE3 and you'll get 50% off VIP picks for the next couple of months. I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. That's only for the people who watch this live. Outside of the live video, it's probably not going to be up. But before I get into my picks, let's talk about what you guys are talking about. Let's get into the chat. One of my picks is on Cam Thomas, so I'll just leave that right up there. But what's good? I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're sleeping well. Hope you're healthy. Hey, shout out to you, Cedric. You had a good day yesterday. That's what I want to hear. Got to show us that scalp to win today. The scalp is not really scalpy. I haven't cut my hair in quite some time. So when I'm clean shaven, I'll be shining. I'll get the scalp out for you. This motherfucker played his intro on the live stream. Absolutely. What's happening there is I don't put the intro in after the video is done. I do it all live, and the reason why is because I have to switch through screens to get screen sharing, and it gives me enough time. I work for the betting companies. Absolutely not. The betting companies don't want to work with me. I've tried to. Trust me. They don't want a piece of me. Oh, man. So it looks like Addy Ups is one of those people that wasn't loved when he was growing up. So best of luck to you. But thanks for coming in here. The comments help fire up the video, so keep plowing away. Back shot from the west side of Sydney. I see you. You should wear the worst team that plays that day for good luck. I might need to buy some more jerseys. We'll see. We'll see. Safari, what's cooking, man? All the way from Europe. Let's go. Zach Collins over his rebounds. We'll get to that in a second. So let me just pump out these 3 picks that I've got down. Then I'll take some Q&As from you guys. We'll talk about whatever picks you're interested in, and then we can roll on. So the first one I'm looking at here is on Cam Thomas. And I like Cam Thomas to score some points today. 23.5. We're looking at his over. We're looking at the Nets versus the Bulls. Now, the Bulls missing quite a few players today, and quite a few players that would have needed to defend Cam Thomas. So pretty much I like this bet for a couple of reasons. He's 5 games back from his injury, came back at the start of March. He's played 5 games. And in those 5 games, we've seen a couple of things. One, we've seen his minutes slowly increase game by game. From 21, it's slowly gone all the way up to 32 in his last game. He is projected to play 31 minutes in this one. So a lot of minutes there for Cam Thomas. The other thing I like about this is his shot volume. So just looking at those 5 games, looking at his field goal attempts, we can see here he's averaging 18.8 field goals attempts per game. And this is in this 5-game sample. On the season, he averages 18. So he's right up around his averages already, and they're only going up. What's good here, he's got a good floor. The lowest amount of shot attempts he's taken in this 5-game stretch is only 17. So consistently getting those shots up. So we know his minutes are looking better. His shot attempts are consistent. And now he's got a fantastic matchup against the Chicago Bulls. The last time I bet against the Chicago Bulls was on Donovan Mitchell to score some 3-pointers. And I spoke about the matchup. The one thing I screwed up that time is I didn't factor in that Vucevic wasn't playing, and their defense is much worse when he's not there, especially in the pick and roll coverage. Vucevic is back, which means they're going to get eaten alive in the pick and roll once again. He'll be playing drop coverage. Cam Thomas should have a lot of time, a lot of space, and a lot of opportunity for a lot of pull-up jumpers that he likes to take. So on the season, the Bulls, third most points to pick and roll ball handlers, pretty poor at defending all the ways he likes to score. Bottom 10 in defending above the break, where he scores 40% of his points. 10 out of the last 15 similar types of players of Cam Thomas have gone over their points line as well. The last thing I'll say about this, and the reason why I like it, Lonzo Ball and Ayo Dosunmu, they're both out, and I would say those are the best perimeter defenders the Chicago Bulls have. So he likely sees who? Trey Jones, Kobe White, Kevin Huerter. Like, none of these guys are going to be able to hang with Cam Thomas. I just love the matchup today. We know that the opportunity is coming through. So like Cam Thomas to score some points. So that's the first pick I want to take you through. The next one is AR-15. So it's the man in our thumbnail today, Austin Reeves. And I like you over 10.5 rebounds and assists. Now, this line opened up at 9.5. It's already moved to 10.5, and then it's probably going to move to 11.5. And I've been straight up with you. I'd prefer to take this at 11.5 at better odds than I got at 10.5. But I'd still take it at 11.5 if that's where it is when you see it. But let's talk about it. We know that LeBron James is out. Massive usage rate, takes a lot of rebounds, take a lot of assists from everybody. Luka is a game time decision. He's got an ankle injury. His back was also jacked up from the last game. And generally, he's quite unhealthy. So let's talk about the Luka impact. So yes, Luka also takes a lot of assists, a lot of rebounds, yada, yada, yada. Last game against the Brooklyn Nets was the first time we saw Austin Reeves and Luka without LeBron James. And Austin Reeves had 8 rebounds and 10 assists in that game against Brooklyn. And the matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks isn't too difficult either. So his matchup's going to be okay here. There's also some upside, right? If Luka doesn't play, then these lines are going to skyrocket. So suddenly we've got great closing line value here on Austin Reeves. And there's going to be some time over the next week where Luka doesn't play, and it's going to be all Austin Reeves because they've got a very ridiculous schedule, the Los Angeles Lakers. So Austin Reeves might be somebody that I bet on heavily over the next week. I do like him in this matchup. He covered this line in both games against the Bucks last season. He had 12 and 24 rebounds and assists. I will let you know that in both of these games, LeBron James didn't play. If we look specifically at the rebounds and assist lines and just try to break it down that way, we can see here that 4 out of the last 6 similar types of players covered their assist line against the Milwaukee Bucks. And if we look at his boards, 7 out of the last 10 similar players covered their rebounds line against the Milwaukee Bucks. If we're just looking at rebounds and assists and not getting too technical with it, and we just look at rebounds and assists that are allowed, we can see here the Milwaukee Bucks, bottom 10 in the league in terms of rebounds and assists to Austin Reeves' position. So matchup-wise, it's looking nice. Minutes-wise, he should see a lot of it. We shouldn't see a blowout here. It's a 6.5-point spread, and the Bucks aren't really blowing out anybody these days. So I think Austin Reeves sees the time. I think he sees the opportunity. The matchup is nice. Outside of Luka, Austin Reeves is going to have to do a whole lot of creating. The Lakers' front court is decimated right now. Giannis is going to be attacking the rim at will. They're outside of Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks take a whole lot of three-pointers and jump shots, and with that comes a lot of long rebounds. So I can see Austin Reeves out-hustling a lot of people to get some long boards as well. So Austin Reeves, I like his rebounds and assists. And then my last pick is also in this game, and I'm taking Brook Lopez over 11.5 points. I took him in that last game against the Indiana Pacers. He cashed. He's back to making us money again. And the whole premise is this. No Bobby Portis. Post-trade deadline when Kyle Kuzma got there. We can see Brook Lopez over this line in 8 out of 11 games. He's averaging 14.3. He had 3 games where he went under. There was a massive blowout against Dallas. That was pretty much from start to finish. That was a 30-point win. Then 2 really difficult matchups against the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now he's up against the Lakers today, who, I wouldn't say it's an easy matchup. The Lakers have been much better defensively, but they're just missing so many key pieces. Jackson Hayes, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura. Those 3 would be their starting center, power forward, and small forward. Like, they're missing a lot of size. I think Giannis is going to be attacking the hell out of him. I think they're going to wall up on Giannis, and he still scores 25 to 30 points. But a lot of teams do this where they wall up on Giannis, and they kind of just give up on everyone else. I think Taurean Prince will see a lot of volume. I don't know if he makes the shots, though. And I think Brook Lopez will see enough volume to cover 11.5 points. He should get good looks above the break. He'll get a lot of easy floaters in the paint. And if they're contesting a lot of Giannis' shots down there, Brook Lopez should get some work on some offensive rebounds, and he'll start putting some shit back. So I'm liking Brook Lopez to score some points today. Very simple. Didn't overthink the 3 picks today, but we'll see. I'll get into the lab first thing in the morning, have more plays, value plays. I'm going to even do some more bitch-ass parlays. I'm working on a new system at the moment. So we'll see where we go with that. Now, let me hit up this chat to see what's going good. Let me take it from the top. So outside of all the hateful stuff some people are saying, what helpful things have we got? All right, G Hill. We're on the same page. We like Lopez over 11.5 points. Let's go. Stewart, over 12.5 points and rebounds. Absolutely. Like, I was honestly really close to betting on Beef Stew today. I was looking at it, and I was looking at it long and hard. Long and strong, baby. 12.5 points and rebounds. He's covered this in both games against the Washington Wizards. This first game, he played 25 minutes because Jalen Duren was in foul trouble, though. So we'll let you know that 20 minutes is what we're more likely to see. He did have 14 points and rebounds in that last game. He shot 50% from the field, got his rebounds. Like, yeah, I do definitely lean to the over here, but I want something more convincing. So whenever I'm looking for a pick, and this is probably why some of them crash and burn so hard, I'm looking for a pick that's going to absolutely slap. Like Denny Advia today, absolutely slapped. Like, they're the types of picks that I'm looking for. One activity that I actually do, and I'd encourage you all to try it, is at the end of the day, when you're looking at the NBA box scores, if you look at them, that is, check each game, look at which player overachieved against the lines that the book set, and try to reverse engineer to figure out why. Like, why did this person go off today? Why did Denny go off? Like, is it something in the matchup? Was it something in the rotation? Was it something in the pace? Like, I try to reverse engineer every outstanding performance, because the more you do that, the easier they're going to be to spot in the future. And sometimes, a lot of the times actually, I get them extremely wrong. Isaiah Stewart, I like him to go over 12.5 points and rebounds. Don't let me go off track here. I like him to go over 12.5. I just don't know if he's going to smash it out of the park. I think this could be something that you'll wait late into the game. It'll probably be in his last rotation. Could be a rebound and a free throw, whatever it may be. So I like the over there, but not something that I'm going to be running. We need some VIP picks. Well, Logan, right now, the 3 picks that I'm taking you through, they're the only 3 VIP picks I've sent out. So VIP have the exact same 3 picks that you're seeing right now. All right, what do we got? Zach Collins. Let's take a look over his rebounds. So for Zach Collins up against the Nets, it's a pretty decent matchup to get boards. And we do know that Vucevic is on a minutes restriction of some kind. So Zach Collins, we're looking at a line of 7.5. He had 9 rebounds against the Pacers, but Vucevic had a ton of rebounds as well. Like, they both rebounded extremely well. The Brooklyn Nets, 9th in terms of rebounds allowed, 17th rebounds allowed in their position. So the matchup's not too bad here. I think the question is, how much time does he get? 23 minutes against the Pacers in the last game. Let me check RotoWire, which I don't completely trust, but it does give me an idea. It gives me a guide. Zach Collins projected to play 22 minutes. So he's projected to play something similar than what he did in that very last game at about 20 minutes. I'll tell you the only reason why I don't like it, and I hate to say it, that Vucevic might be a better look here, is because Zach Collins will most likely be playing against Day'Ron Sharpe, and Day'Ron Sharpe is an absolute beast off the bench. Like, he doesn't play many minutes. He probably plays 15 to 20 minutes. But in that 15 to 20 minutes, he'll produce more rebounds than Nick Claxton would. Like, that's my only hesitation betting on Zach Collins there, but I get the idea. Matchup's not too bad. Been rebounding quite well. Nice. You're one of the ones that hit Austin Reeves nice and early at 9.5, which is good. I know a lot of people would have, because it just exploded. They don't want to work with no one who's winning. Yeah, potentially. It could be that. Or it could be... No, it probably is that. But the reason that they gave me, a lot of the sports books, like, we don't want to work with you because you create content and you sell picks and you do all that. It's like, that's what I do, but like, that doesn't explain why you don't want to work with me, though. Like, I can refer a lot of people, but they didn't want my business. Cam over 6.5. I need to know which Cam you're talking about. Help me out there. I'm assuming we're talking about the same Cam, Cam Thomas. because I know his assists have been a decent look. His RA hasn't been cracking, so maybe it's the other Cam. I'm not too sure. Lou Dort 15 plus hit. I did speak about Lou Dort going crazy, didn't I, on that last stream? That's crazy is he's cashed his 10.5 easy. I think he hit that 15 too. I didn't even bet on those because every time I do a live stream, talk about the things I like, I forget to bet. Like even the Bradley Beal value play. I said, take him for 20 points and take him to go under his assist. It was plus 475. I remember saying that and I didn't bet it, but that was money too. So, hey, no comprende, my friend. I need it in English. Definitely taking Giannis points line against the Lakers. Giannis points line's at 29.5, which ain't too bad. It's not too bad. And obviously he's playing slightly more minutes in every single game. It ain't too bad. Kyle Kuzma, LA return game, revenge game. Man, I don't know. I think he's played against LA that many times. Now he's on his second team post since being on LA. I don't know if the revenge factor's there. You know what's funny is the last time he played the Lakers, I think even the last two times when he was back on Washington, I bet on his overs because of that very same reason, and he sucked. So I think the revenge element is not on the table for Kyle Kuzma anymore. Thinking about tailing Lopez for 15 points. I think it's worth it. I think 15 points would be juicy. Let's go. They get back DFS today. Don't sleep on the Lakers defense when he's in the game. He has one of the highest plus minus. Yeah, DFS is a great defender, but you need more than one man to stop a Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I don't think it's going to impact Brook Lopez either. One thing to keep in mind is the plus minus. There's flaws in looking at that stat because it depends on rotations as to who you're with as well. So they all impact your plus minuses. So, and given the Lakers have a really strong three players, I would say, and a very weak bottom seven, depending on who you're on the court with, could really impact that too. So, what do you think of Giannis over his odds and rebounds, assists and rebounds? I'm assuming. I think I honestly was considering Giannis rebounds in this particular game because Austin Reeves and Luka are going to have the ball a lot of the time. They're going to play one-on-one with the guards out top, or they're going to hunt Brook Lopez in that pick and roll. They're trying to get a switch on Brook Lopez. I don't see them looking to attack Giannis. So Giannis is going to be chilling. He'd probably be defending DFS, right? Just waiting on the corner. I think Giannis can get some rebounds in this game. So that's one look that I had. Didn't take it. I'll probably decide on that in the morning because I also don't think that's a line that's going to move. So W plays. I'm assuming that means you're supportive, and I appreciate that. K points. So you may have noticed I didn't make any bets in this game. The Wizards versus the Pistons, and this is the reason why. These guys just played each other. These back-to-back sets can be weird as hell because teams make adjustments. Things don't go the way that they did last time. And what's funny is these teams already played twice this season, and a lot of these players have pretty much replicated what they did in both games. Cade Cunningham, for example, 21 and 27 points, 10 assists in both games over his rebounds. So Cade Cunningham, rebounds and assists seems like the most straightforward play to me. And normally it's something I would bet. The problem is they just played each other 2 days ago, and weird shit happens when that occurs. Another person is Jalen Duren. Strong points in the head-to-head. He was in foul trouble in this game, so I bet on him the following game. He cashed in that last one. Same with his boards. Foul trouble. I expected him to play more minutes. He played more minutes, and then he cashed. Now his lines have moved up. If anything, I was thinking of betting an under on Jalen Duren because if this guy finds some foul trouble and starts tickling people, then he probably goes under. So I honestly do like the look on Cade Cunningham for anything. The only concern that I have is that they just played and weird things tend to happen. Rotations change. Some coaches treat it like a playoff series and really make adjustments. Some coaches don't give a shit and just let them run. But I see what you're looking at here. Would you ever run a ladder challenge? So in my free Discord, which there's a link to in the video description, we do have an area for ladder challenges. It's called Rags to Riches. I did put my hand up to participate in the next one. I've never had any luck doing it, but hey, if it sounds like a lot of fun, let's roll with it. Take a look at Vucevic today. If he is not on limit, he crushes at 100%. Yeah, I have to wait till more news about Vucevic comes out in the morning because I don't know if there is a limit. If there isn't a limit, please let me know because you can't trust everything that you read. Like I read somewhere that Rudy Gobert was on a limit, and then someone told me that he's not on limit because he was betting on Rudy Gobert. And I was like, I trust you. So I bet on Rudy Gobert. And heaps of people that follow him told him that Rudy Gobert's on a limit. And he had to tell them that he is not. So this whole limit bullshit, I don't know what's happening here. So, but Vooch, I think his lines are a little bit too low. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I might bet on Vooch. I think that line might be a little bit too low, but I also don't know what the limit is, if there is one. Give me 1 sec. My dog is scratching at my door. I'll be back. All right, kings and queens. So for those of you who've been watching my videos for a few years, if you hear whenever you hear somebody snoring and sneezing in the background, it's this girl. All right. What a beast. But what were we talking about? Giddy PA. I don't even know if Giddy's playing today. I believe Giddy's out, so we can't do him. Jaden Duren in the first half. I think my concern with that is he typically finds foul trouble early in the game. If he picks up some fouls in your first half play, he's probably cooked. So if there's a blowout, Jalen Duren can cover. He's in 3 quarters. It's just foul trouble, which is the risk. So, all right, girl, I'll put you down. All right, let me get back to work. All right. Okay, we back. Not sure if it's on a restriction. Yeah, I just need some clarity on that. Cade triple-double, I honestly like it. He got real close in both games. I think Cade, what I was thinking of doing, I was going to run Cade over his rebounds and assists. That was going to be a straight bet. And in terms of a value play, I was going to run Cade for 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So that would have been the value play there. Bitch ass parlay, Giannis over 24.5 points. And whose looks? Whose looks? Unless I don't want to say the R word, but I'm gonna get into some bitch ass parlay stuff tomorrow. Once I know who's playing in every single game, I'm gonna start cooking. Hit one today. Hopefully, we can hit more of them tomorrow. Duren over 2.5 assists. Asar over 2.5 assists. That's interesting because Duren, I don't think he dimes up in these matchups against the Wizards. Yeah. So Jalen Duren doesn't even get potential. He doesn't even get enough potential assists in order to cover this line against them. So the Duren assist part is interesting because they don't stop him from scoring, and a lot of the handoff actions they run probably not required. So Jalen Duren is an interesting one. Asar Thompson. I'll caution people betting on Asar Thompson because I noticed in the last game a lot of people were betting on Asar Thompson. Basically, of the last couple of games, he's had his minutes cut, and I don't know the reason why. He used to be, like last week, he was like blowout proof. Even if there was a blowout, they'd keep playing him. He'd see a ton of minutes. Now, he's only seeing about 20 minutes a game. And even in a blowout, like that last game against Washington, didn't get any extra minutes. So, Asar Thompson, I'm a little bit cautious on taking any bets on him. How does Duff do with his NRL rugby picks he's given out in VIP? Is it an automatic tail? I don't know. That's not for me to say because they're my picks. I'm betting on them anyway. We did go up 1.3 units on the NRL tonight. So the first game was on tonight. We hit 2 out of 3 bets. So it was pretty decent. I made about probably $1,000 on the NRL tonight. So it was pretty decent. But look, I'll leave it up to others to tell you whether it's worth following or not because I'm obviously biased. Luka overs value play. So for Luka, I don't know if he's going to play, but if Luka plays, I'd be looking at his rebounds and assists too, especially at 17.5 at plus money. That's what I'd be looking at. Again, same reasons as Austin Reeves. Like he's not going to be defending Dame. He's not going to defend Giannis. The rebound should come throughout the course of the game. Assist-wise, he's going to have the ball more than anybody else. And the Bucks, they do give it up to spot-up shooters quite well. So if I was betting Luka, it would be around the rebounds and assists. I don't know if I could get there with the points. Like 31.5 is quite high, and especially knowing his back is injured, his ankle's injured. Like that's all a little bit of concern for me. Is Zach Collins under 11.5 points a good bet? Well, it all depends. The line's at 10.5. So you can catch I'm assuming you already have 11.5 in terms of odds and probability, then yeah, it's a good bet given that everybody's already moved this down to 10.5. He only scored 7 points in the last game. Volume's quite low in 20 minutes. What would be interesting is because there's no Josh Giddey, and I don't know the stats on this, but how many of Zach Collins' points come off the back of Josh Giddey creating something for him? So Trey Jones does step in, who's a traditional point guard anyway, who likes to create for others, but I don't know how effective he is in the pick and roll. So Vucevic at 8.5 boards, is that a good look? Depends what it's at now. Well, yeah, it's at 9.5 in most places. So you got in early. So again, you're getting good closing line value. I don't know if that means it cashes or not, but for where I stand, you caught this at 8.5, whereas if I or anybody else was to try to take Vucevic boards, we'd have to take it at 9.5. And that's a big stretch in terms of rebounds. So you get an extra rebound if he's going to be limited. Yeah, the 8.5 is a good bet. Give me the code to VIP. The VIP code's all in the video description. It's also scrolling on the bottom of the screen. The link's in the description with the code, and the code is just scrolling on the screen. Get them likes up. You took the Bill value play. Yeah. I remember I messaged Josh straight after that game, and I was like, did you play the 20 plus, the value play? It was a banger because I didn't. Jalen Duren rebounds. It's at 12.5. I think it's quite high. Honestly, it's quite high. There's blowout risk. There's foul trouble risk. He just got the 12.5 last time. I feel like the line's right where it needs to be. So I'm not betting on Jalen Duren today. Can you explain value play? So value play is the same game parlays where I usually bet on 2 or 3 props, but all for the exact same player. So I'm pretty much predicting a player's start line. And typically the odds are between plus 200, plus 500. Actually, they go really high. And then I parlay them also together, and they drive a ton of profit. So they're risky, is what I would say. They're all risky, but I managed to convert them at a rate that makes them extremely profitable. Nothing for today's games. I got 3 picks. I'll scroll those up on the screen. So if you missed them, those are the 3 picks: Cam Thomas, Austin Reeves, and Brook Lopez. How long am I broadcasting for? Far out. I wanted to do it for an hour. Like, it's almost 12 o'clock at night, and I need to be up at 5 a.m. So if I can finish this in the next 20 minutes, probably get 4.5 hours of decent sleep, and then we get back into the grind again. So we'll see. DeMar, 22 points. All right, I like it. Some Kings stuff. Kings against the Warriors. Now this, I haven't bet on anything in this game. I haven't really looked at it because we don't know if Sabonis is in. So Sabonis, apparently he was at shoot around. So I don't know if that means he plays or not. So I haven't bet on anything in this game because I need to wait on Domantas Sabonis. If he's not there, then obviously DeRozan should get tons of usage. If he is there, does DeRozan get better looks, but he probably gets less shots? Like, there's so many different things that could happen. So I'm just waiting on Sabonis before I take a look at anything related to that game. LeBron is not playing. He's too busy fighting Stephen A. Smith. So we'll see what happens there. Jaylen Brown under points whenever he plays OKC. Absolutely. This is what I hate about the lineup changes. Like, I wanted to bet Jaylen Brown's under in like everything. Like, this is not the matchup for him. But then you got to wait so long before lineups are confirmed, and then the lines keep moving, or you got to place bets. Like, it's just a pain in the ass. But yeah, that's a system play on its own. Jaylen Brown versus AKC. Do I think Jimmy Butler's assists are a good look? The assist chart is all green. His line is at 5.5. Not totally sure I did the filters correctly. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at this at all. So this is how I would use Props Madness if I wanted to see if Jimmy Butler's assists were any good. He's projected to play a lot of minutes today. We're looking at 35 minutes at least for Jimmy Butler. But who he plays with is probably more important. So I'm going to look at the games with Steph Curry, and I want to remove any outliers. So let's just go 30 to 40 minutes. So this is basically his numbers with Steph Curry between 30 and 40 minutes. We're looking at 6 out of his last 10. We're looking at averaging 6 assists per game. We're looking at the odds here for 5.5. Pretty ass. Like, even if we looked at FanDuel's a pretty sharp book. I think their odds are usually very accurate. So what I'm doing is showing you something, and this is how like determine whether a bet's worth taking if you're just looking at numbers. So we're looking at minus 140, right? So that means there's an implied probability of 58% that this bet wins, right? There's a 58% chance that this bet wins. That's what the odds say. We're looking at the numbers, and he's hit this 60% of the time. So the odds for it aren't fantastic. It's probably fair odds, I would say. So what I'm saying is you probably don't have an edge, but then you can break it down by matchup. He did versus the Kings not too long ago. 16 potentials, 7 assists, but that was a game where the Golden State Warriors were murdering them. 24-point win. We've got a 7-point spread here, playing at home. Shot chart is green. It's honestly not a bad play, and I don't think this is going to be a blowout. So Jimmy probably plays even more minutes. His potential assist volumes are pretty good most of the time. Some of these games, he wasn't injured in on some of these games. I think he got injured in one of these games. But Jimmy Butler to go over his assists. So to answer your question, I think he does go over his 5.5 assists, but I don't think you're getting the best odds available for them, is what I'm saying. Like, there's no edge in the odds, but in terms of my opinion on whether he goes over or not, I do think he goes over. Hopefully that makes sense. Richaun Holmes. Let's take a look at Richaun Holmes. So coming off the bench, I think Richaun Holmes is projected to play 20 minutes today. He had 14, played 22 minutes in his last game against the Pistons. Let's look at 18 to 23. I think that's what he's expected to play. And Richaun Holmes, and we're just looking at his PRA. All right, yeah. So he's expected to play 20 in this time frame. He's over in 4 out of his last 5 games, so it's been pretty decent. He's got it done. I don't mind the look of this one. Looking at matchups, though, I don't know how he's going to score his points. Like, obviously, he does score his points against Detroit. He had 14 of those suckers. He was 6 from 10. But typically, it's a difficult matchup. He scores 82% of his points right into the basket, which is tough. The Pistons are the 4th fewest points there. But at the stages where he probably scores those points, the Pistons probably don't give a shit. If it was me and I was betting on Richaun Holmes, I'd be betting on this. I'd just be looking at his rebounds. I know sometimes he gets assists, though, which is a bit sneaky. He does. So I'd be looking at rebounds and assists or just his rebounds. His rebounds are plus money right now for 6.5 boards. If we know he's going to play about 20 minutes, and the Washington Wizards possibly couldn't get worse, right? Like, they've lost by 20 points in both games. Sure, they don't lose by 40. Richaun Holmes, I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. I think this is a very interesting look. Koulibaly and Brogdon were missing the last game. They're not playing in this one. Any other backup centers we need to worry about is what I'm thinking. No. So Richaun Holmes to get some boards. My man, I think he might have hooked me up here. I don't mind this, Richaun Holmes. So I'm not running the PRA, but I'm going to add this to my list of things to look at in the morning. If it's still plus money in the morning, I'm telling you now, I'm taking it. Richaun Holmes over 6.5 boards. I like this look. He's going to get the minutes. He's going to get the opportunities, and he rebounds very well when he sees the amount of time. Points-wise, that's a little bit difficult. That's going to be tricky. But rebounds, I like it. Assists, I clearly like that too. So there could be a value play there for Richaun Holmes. You mentioned something about taking Zion over. Well, I considered taking Zion over for a couple of reasons. But there's also reasons not to take Zion over. So the reason you would take Zion over his points because the Orlando Magic, they're probably not going to double team him. They're just going to let him play. They're going to meet him at the rim, and they're going to try to make him miss layups. That's how the Orlando Magic play defense, or they're going to foul him. They foul a lot too. But they're not going to send double teams. They're not that worried about it. So he should get volume and opportunity. The reasons why I don't like it is that the Magic play really slow. And Zion, as chubby as he is, scores a lot of his points in transition. He likes to play with a lot of pace. The Magic are a very slow team. So I don't know how that's going to fit well with Zion. Also, the Orlando Magic play defense that way and allow a lot of isolation plays because they're pretty good at defending it. So, yeah, I was thinking about it. 23.5 seems a little bit high. His assists at 5.5. I don't know if this is the game to get the assists. The Magic allow the fewest assists in the league, and that's because they don't double. So I'll need to sleep on it. I'll see where I land. But I think Zion's going to do something today. I just don't know what it is. DeRozan PRA, same thing. Until Sabonis is in, then we'll see. Gotta wonder how much the Wiz can adjust for anyone. That's true. They probably won't adjust, which is why I'm probably going to just build a BAP. I'll get a bitch-ass parlay cooking specifically for that Wizards game, because my thought process is they probably don't change a thing. And if they don't change a thing, then Cade's scoring 20, Cade's getting 8 assists, Duran's getting 10 points, 10 rebounds, Tobias Harris is getting 6 boards. Like, all the things that have been happening consistently probably happen again. But I'm going to create a bitch-ass parlay for that. Brooks up to 12 points flat. Would I take 13.5 PA? Brooks, probably not the PA in this one, because I got murdered by a Brook Lopez assist in that last game against the Pacers. And one thing that correlates well with Brook Lopez assists is Dame's performance. And Dame hasn't been playing that well. So if Dame's not playing well, it might be difficult for Brook to get those assists. I just run the 12 points flat. That's what I'm thinking, because I'd take this at 12.5. What would be an under you may be leaning for? So, unders. What am I considering here? I think Jordan Poole assists in this Pistons game. I think that's a good look for an under. The reason being is with Chris Middleton in the lineup, Jordan Poole doesn't have to do so much creating, you could say. Let's look at his games with Chris Middleton. Yeah, he's averaging 3.6 assists with Chris Middleton, but this line's moved. This was at 4.5. It's already moved to 3.5. I'd probably still lean that way, but that'll be a little bit sweaty. So that's one under that I would consider. Alex points and under there since Middleton's joined. He's only hit the over twice. Struggles against the Detroit Pistons as well. So that's another under that I consider. And let me see, is there anything in the other games? Bucks, Lakers. I want to do Taurean Prince. I think Taurean Prince could have a big game. I don't know. Kyle Kuzma seems to suck, but yeah, I'm not interested in playing an under on him. Probably nothing in that particular game. Nets versus Bulls. This Buzelis guy, an under on him always looks nice, but he has a decent matchup to score some points today, so probably not him. Kobe White actually has a difficult matchup today, believe it or not. Especially if with no Giddey, he probably runs the pick and roll a lot more, but he's been on fire as of late. And D'Angelo Russell's an absolute spud, so betting unders on him is never a bad thing. During double is locks. I don't do locks. It's not part of my terminology, but I do like him to get a double. But what I think is it's probably not going to be as easy as it was in the last game, which is why I'm not betting it. So that's what I'm thinking. Yes, the picks are scrolling on the bottom line. I did that at the start of the video. Zion under assists. I get you. I like it. I thought that was the baby. Stooped up the dog. Yeah, she is. Sabonis should be able to cover the combo tonight. We'll see. Let's see. Cade points. I don't mind it, but I'm a bit iffy on that game. Austin Reeves under first half PRA. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't bet first halves, so that's difficult for me to make a call on. Thank you. Zion over 23. We've spoken about Zion. I think the assist might be difficult to come by. The points, he could get that. Julius Randle prop cost me a 7-leg parlay. Everything else hit. Could have hit your biggest parlay of the year. Well, it sucks, but yeah, it's only March. We've still got a lot more time this year. You still have a lot of time to hit your biggest parlay of the year. Don't worry. Cade Cunningham and Giannis triple-double tonight. I actually don't mind the look of that. I think this could be a game. Like, if you're really going to stretch the limits, I think Giannis get a triple-double. I think it could be on the cards. I think that's really interesting. Plum Dog cost me a 6-leg last night. Ejected. He wanted a tickle. What's your explanation of a value play? Is it multiple lines for the same player or just a small parlay you like? No, it's fine. You don't have to apologize. That's a great question. And yes, it's multiple lines for the same player. If it's a parlay with multiple players, then I'm pretty much running a same game parlay. I don't have a special name for it. But the value plays where I specifically target one player and drill down into the different prop lines. Draymond rebounds or assists. Again, I think this comes down to Sabonis playing or not. He struggled in that last game against Sacramento, but it was a blowout. If we could look at games with Steph Curry, with Jimmy Butler, is a little bit all over the place. Actually, that's points. What am I talking about? Rebounds and assists right here. So it's 17 last time against the Kings. And that was in a blowout too. So if it's not a blowout and Draymond plays more minutes, then yeah, the rebounds and assists could be there. What also depends on, right? This is what I'm thinking, because I don't know the answer to this, but what I would do is I would check that previous game against Sacramento to see what the rotations look like who was Draymond on the floor with, what type of lineups did they have, and if they have been playing similar lineups in these games, then yeah, you could assume history could repeat itself. But Steve Kerr fucks around with his rotations all the time. Like sometimes Draymond's the 5, sometimes he's the 4, sometimes they got Post in, they got Looney in, they got Trace Jackson Davis once every 3 weeks. Like the rotations are a little bit strange. I'd be interested to know who was Draymond defending in that last game against the Kings. How did he get the rebounds? How did he get those assists? And do you think that could happen again? That's what I would do. Yo, love from the UK, my man. Late to the party. Why you don't do spread and moneyline predictions? Isn't it relatively safer to bet a team rather than one guy? No, it depends who you ask. I don't do spreads and money lines because I get enough volume down on player props as it is. If I was doing spreads and money lines, I'd essentially get close to betting half of my bankroll every single day, and it's too risky. So stay in your lane. What I do is I consider spreads and money lines, and it forms part of my prediction for player props. But yeah, and I also know like spreads and moneyline stuff. There's a guy in my Discord who's probably the best I've ever seen, and when he plays something, I just tail him, so I don't have to put too much time and effort into it. No one going for a Sabonis rebounds. 12.5 seems low if he's not on a minute restriction. You're right. It is low if he's not on a minutes restriction, but it's not clear. So if you bet the 12.5, then he is on a minutes restriction. There's a chance that you lose your bet. And why would you do that? I would say wait. Just wait. What's the fucking code for VIP today? It's in the video description. Like it's just sitting there waiting for you. If you click on the link in the video description, it automatically applies the code for you. Marcus Smart over 8.5 points. Now, Marcus Smart has been cooking lately. I know he got him in the last game. A lot of that was in, I'd say, garbage time. But let's look at it. 8.5 points. He had 16 in that last game. How many games has Marcus Smart played? Let's just say with Chris Middleton. So Marcus Smart has been cashing the shit out of this line since he joined. All right. 6 out of his last 8 games playing on the Wizards. The matchup against Detroit is pretty good around the perimeter, especially if he's in the pick and roll. I just don't know what his role is right now. So the hit rate on this is fantastic. I don't know what Marcus Smart's role is on this team. Is he the point guard when he's on there? Is he the 2 guard? Is he relying on more spot-up shooting, or is he actually in the pick and roll? I remember I watched this game for 3 minutes, and one of the plays he did a pick and roll. They left him wide open, and he smashed a 3 from the top of the key. So, yeah, Marcus Smart's not a bad look. He's been cashing that quite nicely. The code is on the fucking screen. Cam Johnson, over 2.5 threes. Let's take a look. The matchup is a nice one for Cam Johnson. I don't do very well on betting on 3-point props. I will tell you that. But let's look at his games with Cam Thomas and D'Lo. 3-game sample size. And he cashed this line in all 3 up against the Bulls who allow a ton of 3-pointers. So I like it. The odds for this are pretty good. Minus 110 at DraftKings, minus 115. So you're getting pretty decent odds here for Cam Johnson to hit some threes. I like it. I think that's a good look. Kevin Huerter, PRA. I've already looked into this. I don't like this. Kevin Huerter's expected to play a lot more minutes, and I ran the numbers. When he does play more minutes, he doesn't necessarily produce more, and his matchup is not the best for the Nets. If I was going to bet on Kevin Huerter, I'd probably just be betting on his points, but his points are already at 14.5. So a pivot could be his threes. So from betting on Kevin Huerter, the threes are a look, but the odds aren't fantastic. But that's as far as I'd go with him. Brolo points and rebounds, Cam points and assists. Are you trying to predict the value play here? Because I haven't got any value plays down just yet. So I've only got the 3 straight picks, and that's it. Brooks got dropped on Prize Picks 2 minutes ago. 11.5 got bumped as I was looking for Cam Thomas. That's crazy. I took the 13.5 points and assists. Yeah, that's nuts. They've been moving shit all over the place. Trey Murray, points, rebounds, and assists. Who the hell is that? Trey Murphy, I'm assuming. For Trey Murphy, it's a tough one. He's got a difficult matchup to score points. He's got a difficult matchup to get assists, but what I looked at here for Trey Murphy is even in difficult matchups, he's still somehow managed to make it happen. So I'm staying away from him. Chris Middleton under 6.5 rebounds and assists. Let's take a look at my man Fishface, see what's been happening. Rebounds and assists under in that last game, because the minutes where Chris Middleton played in that last game is when all the blowout stuff was happening, which is quite strange. I'm not saying it's his fault, but yeah, he did suck a little bit. But he had 3 rebounds and 0 assists in that last game. Diamond up, he's been pretty decent at lately. But again, it all comes down to whether you think it's going to happen again. What happened in the last game? Do you think it happens again? If you think it will, then go for it. Levine threes, again, it's a bonus factor. I got to wait for that. It's a bonus impacted here. It's the return of the comeback. Well, that's interesting. I love how Stephen A. clowned LeBron James. That is iconic. I keep replaying the video. I've been waiting for that for years. They need to get him a pacifier and a bib, like Stephen A. said. I love it. I'm not a big fan of LeBron or Stephen A., but it's really interesting. Vando under rebounds. Brook Lopez will draw him away from the paint. Yeah, I think that strategy only works for like Kristaps Porzingis. Someone like a Brook Lopez, I've noticed he doesn't necessarily drag people out because they let him shoot. Like he shoots like 35% from deep. Like he's not that good at shooting. And that release is slow as dog shit. He also is hesitant to take that shot a lot of the time. So I don't know if Vando's going to be drawn away from the paint. If anything, he's going to be asked to be as close to it as possible to help on Giannis. That's what I think. They probably help on Giannis and they rotate from the weak side to stop Lopez at the top. And then they eventually give up a corner 3. I think that's how it plays out. I don't think Vando moves too far away. Banchero points. I don't know. I found Banchero awfully hard to bet on. So when you're betting against the Pelicans, you need someone who's going to get a whole lot of layups. And Banchero is capable of getting that. The problem is he resorts to too many jump shots. So his shot selection is pretty shit. In terms of matchups, someone I'd like to bet on would be Franz, but Franz hasn't been playing well lately. So yeah, it's a tough game, that one. I need to sleep on it. Trey Jones under his RA, it's at 11.5, and he'd be under like crazy. But Trey Jones is going to see a lot of minutes now, so you got to factor that in. Yeah, in this game he's about to play against the Nets. He's going to play a little bit more minutes than he has been. Plus, there's no Josh Giddey playing in this one, so his role changes. He's not the backup point guard; he's a starting point guard who's going to be diming everybody up. Matchup is okay against the Brooklyn Nets too, so I'm not down to playing under on that, but if you're down, go crazy. How does Kobe White points look without Giddey? Well, Giddey doesn't miss much time, so I can't show you that. But Kobe White's points, regardless, they're great, but his matchup's difficult. I think they'll lock up DeMar since he kills the Warriors, leaving good looks for Levine for threes. Yeah, it could be. It really could be. But if the cum bucket is in, I don't know if they need to leave Levine wide open, right? You might have an extra player that can defend him. So we should see. How much should I bet on value plays if I have a 1K bankroll? Well, I bet half a unit. So if I'm betting half a unit, I tell everybody to bet half a unit. It doesn't matter what your bankroll is. You determine what your unit size using basic mathematics, and you can figure it out from there. Kevin Huerter under. I've been leaning that way for sure. He shat his pants. Draymond boards, let's go. All right. So even with the 60-second slow mode, I kind of fell behind in the comments, but I've just caught up to it now. I'm getting fatigued as hell, so I'm just gonna stop playing around props madness because it's exhausting. Let me answer a couple of questions, and I'm gonna bounce out of here because it's 12:05 a.m. now, and I'm gonna be tired as hell tomorrow as well. What do we got? We've got Bruce Brown PRA. I haven't even looked at Bruce Brown, not gonna lie to you, so I can't give you insights on that. Let's get this money today. Orlando slow paced. I think Zion facilitates more tonight. I don't know if those things correlate. Slow pace would normally make it more difficult for him to facilitate. It depends if they help. I think if you watch this game, determine whether Orlando are how they're going to play him. If there's any signs of life that they're going to double him, then the assists are going to be a good look. If you watch them and they're happy to leave him play one-on-one, then you probably you shouldn't touch it. I took Brook Lopez 15, 7, and 2 for 9x. Oh, my man's got a value play down already. I do like Brook Lopez for 15. What I do with rebounds and assists, if I do something with them, that is still to be determined. I'm looking at Cole Anthony today. No, I'm not actually. And I should because Cole Anthony sucked in the last game, and normally the bounce back occurs, right? Happens so many times. I bet on someone, they suck, and then they go crazy. His matchup against the Pelicans is not the greatest. The one thing the Pelicans are good at slowing down is the pick and roll stuff. So that's my hesitation, but I should bet on Cole Anthony for a bounce back game, but I'm probably not going to. Giannis first quarter points seem low. I don't do too many first quarter bets. It's at 7.5. Hey, you're right. It is a little bit low for him to get to the free throw line and make 2 or 3 layups. Yeah, it does seem low. The 7.5 definitely seems low. He's going to play 9 minutes in this first quarter as well. So if I look at the games, where Giannis plays 9 minutes in the first quarter, he actually averages 7 points a game in that first quarter. So maybe the line's not too low if you look at how many minutes he's expected to play. What do you think of Brook Lopez? 15 plus points, plus 175. I like it. I'd love it if it was at plus 200 though. Like that's normally the minimum I would look at for a value play. But yeah, I think it's still a good look. Banchero rebounds. I can't bet on his rebounds. I wouldn't know where the rebounds are going to come from. I don't know who's going to defend Zion. So that's all the question mark for me right now. Brooks sits in the mid-range 3-point line. Lakers probably shoot a lot tonight, leaving him for some good boards along with points. Yeah, true. I'd agree with that. Kuzma over his points and rebounds. Whew, that's brave. I can't bet on Kuzma. Luka over 3.5 threes. I'm not betting on Luka because I don't even know if he's going to play in this game, so I haven't over-considered anything for him, but I'd be looking at his rebounds and assists. Stewart over his boards. Yes, I like it. When you're filtering players' props and the team they're going against is average, do you filter out the best or their worst? What you can do is you can filter out both sides. You can kind of filter out the best and the worst, and then you're just stuck with the middle. That's what I tend to do sometimes. My 12-year-old son bangs the intro song. He's autistic and hates the morning in school, but hearing your rap puts him in a good mood and you make his dad bang. That's awesome, man. I love that shit. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that if I know kids are going to watch this, but what about Curry? Playing at home, could threes be the easiest option? Do we go for over in points and also bet over his 3 points? So Steph Curry, believe it or not, it's one of the players that I bet on the least because matchups don't impact Steph Curry too much. The thing that impacts Steph Curry the most is health. And he's pretty healthy at the moment. Health and motivation. He had a pretty poor game against the Kings last time, and his matchup isn't too bad. But they had other players cooking. It'd be interesting to see who plays. I know someone like a Moses Moody has a good matchup, but yeah, I don't know about Steph Curry. I honestly don't bet on him too much. On his bad games, I don't bet his unders. His good games, I don't bet his overs. He's just a very difficult cat for me to read. Dalton Connect, yes, I like his over. Even his PRA, if you can catch a good number for that. I noticed that moved really quick. More Dalton love out here. Trey Jones, under 9 out of 10. Yes, you're right. But yeah, he's going to see more opportunity in this game than he has ever seen before. That's all I'm cautious of. Cam Thomas, I don't know about the PRA. I'm just rolling with the points. At home, he's got a great hit rate. Yes, but you got to play around with his minutes. So I'm going to be playing 9 minutes. Man, I'm like 10 minutes behind. Let me get through this. Do you think Gabe Vincent sees minutes like the Nets game? Yeah, he should. Gabe Vincent should see similar minutes. Unless Bronny James takes his minutes. You took Cowboys and Sharks over spread twice on your NRL betting. Was that meant to be once? Yes, it's only meant to be once. Sorry, if you ever see me taking something twice, I'm not betting it twice. I was probably line shopping. I was line shopping ads. I'm not ads, odds. I was line shopping odds to see where the best odds are. Yes, he was mentioned. Stay in your lane. Number one rule to follow to save your dollars. Yeah. Hey, it works for me. Like I can't bet on everything, right? Like there's some people who do this and they try to bet on every single sport, but like how can you really be dialed into that many different sports when one sport is enough? You got one sport, 100 different props, different like strategies. Like it's hard. It's hard to be locked in. Do you have anyone who looks good for a value play? Not right now. I don't have anything right now in terms of value plays. The only one I'd probably consider right now is probably Cade Cunningham. Over rebounds, over assists. And I'll probably be brave and take it under in his points. You'll probably get like plus 550, something like that. That's one that I'm considering in my head. We'll see. Sleeping on CJ's over 2.5 threes. No, I'm not sleeping on that. I think I've said this a few times. I'm just not betting 3-point props anymore. I can't do it. Every time I bet on them, they suck. I do points. Will we get out of the hood with a big Trixie one day? Absolutely. We hit a big Trixie at least once a month, like a big one where all three of those suckers hit. Yeah, I think we'll get out of the hood at some point. We're trying. Trey Murphy under, PRA. The fact that people keep asking rhetorical questions. Connect boards. Yeah, the boards could be there. Similar to Austin Reeves and Luka, the rebound opportunities. I quit my roofing job to follow VIP picks full time last week. You're a psychopath. Why would you even do that? Austin Reeves over points is one of your picks today. Absolutely wrong. I didn't bet his over in points. I bet his over in rebounds and assists. It's Abraham in Houston, Texas. I literally have the stream on blast for my workout. Oh, man. I got to pick up the pace then. I got to pick up the energy. Lift, my boy. Lift. Up, up, up. Push. Franz, I don't mind it. Giannis, the PRA. Yeah, I don't know. He should be able to dominate in a lot of ways. So I think the PRA could be a look. All right. I'm going to call it right now because as I say I'm going to finish this, the comments keep coming through and there's no way that I'm going to be able to get through them all and sleep at a reasonable hour. So I do have to cut this one short. It's not even that short. I've been doing this for over an hour again. It's 12 minutes past 12 o'clock and it's past my bedtime. I have to be up at 5 a.m. So I do have to bounce. I do hope you found some value out of this stream. I apologize for not uploading my video the way I normally do, but when I'm short of time, this is what I resort to. And then I always spend so much longer on camera than I normally expect to. But maybe it's because I talk too much, or it's maybe because you guys ask so many things, or maybe because I like it and I like communicating with you guys. I'm not too sure what it is. But look, I had a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Best of luck. I hope you guys absolutely green out. I want to hear about these winning slips. Best luck to you. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you know.